in a row, they might have enough momentum to just head into this.
Well, let's find out. Let's see what the next map is going to be. I am on board with you, by the way, due to the fact it's very unlikely for you to get core roll-in on Towers of Doom. Chosen by worst positioning, the Prophet continues, Prophet Caldor. And I agree, I think out of all the maps left, this is the one worst positioning have the best chance of making it a comeback on.
Yeah, the map choices so far, with the exception of Infernal Shrines chosen by Diamondskin, make a lot of sense here now. And this is really one of those moments where, for worst positioning, again, there's so much on the line. The early 2 losses weren't really too much of a problem from my perspective, just because they were maps where Diamondskin excels and where worst positioning struggles. So those are maps, if you don't all of a sudden have a problem with your nerves, if you are down 2 games, where you can say, okay, this is understandable. It's just from game 3 forward, it was just like very heartbreaking to see that worst positioning didn't have any synergy whatsoever. That changed on the last map a bit, especially Earth came into his play on Diablo, had a much bigger impact on the hero than he did in the previous games. Now they have to show that they can make it work on Towers of Doom as well.
Going to be rough, but this is a potential recovery of the Medivh, going back into that, which worked much better. Another hit player who was doing well, Dreamy, really bringing it on Medivh in that last game with some great polybombs and beautiful portals. Unfortunately, he did lose all his stacks at 38, which it happens, but his team won the game, so worth, I guess.
They won, so there's no problem there. Medivh did nothing wrong. That being said, I still would love Garrosh to be addressed in some way. And this is another great map where Tracer is also going to have an impact. Diamondskin sees no need to change their own ban pattern. Once again, my F is being banned out. Is worst positioning going to change things?
Hooray!
Thank God. It's a good map for Tracer, so there's definitely some potential that Diamondskin is now starting to think, okay, Rostmek, how do you feel here? Do we pick Tracer for you? Do we play around that? But banning out Garrosh, I think, is great. So, first of all, Malfurion picked by Diamondskin. That already says that they have the chance to make the Tracer combo even stronger. Worst positioning could either now pick Tracer themselves, or they could simply say, well, we're going to deal with it.
I would not mind a opening of Diablo and something, or maybe even Tracer Medivh. If you not get Tassadar, I think they tried that before. It was a little bit shaky. I wouldn't mind that extra burst protection.
Now, I'm really curious to see how they're going to deal with it right now, because Garrosh, even though they lost the last map, I think Roba was running it down a little bit in some of these fights, just probably expecting that he gets more support from his healer, from Stukov. But it's a very different scenario having the Stukov or having the Malfurion behind you. And in the previous games that we saw in this series, Malfurion was always there, not only with the heal, but also with the tranquility. Whenever anything was jumping on Garrosh, that allowed a lot more sustain. And I felt that Roba was maybe a bit overconfident given the previous 3 victories.
That's an interesting opening.
The obsession with Rega is something that... Rega is a great follow-up hero, but the obsession with Rega that we're seeing from worst positioning is something that we have observed at the beginning of 2018 from leftovers. They were very quickly cured of that notion and had a bit of a reality check. And once that leftover started to change their drafting up and also went more into the meta picks on that side, they started to really play a lot better. So for worst positioning, for me, this feels like we need to have a preference pick here because our support is maybe so much more confident on Rega. His Malfurion is already taken away. Does he have other heroes where he feels he can perform on the same level? That might be a reason, because I see no reason whatsoever to pick Rega this early.
Yeah, over a hero like Stukov as well. The Stukov that they played on Tomb of the Spider Queen before they died was actually pretty reasonable. It wasn't so bad. And Tracer is ignored by both teams, at least for the moment, as Hanzo is taken away by Diamondskin, and they go back, giving Darkmock that Sonya for, I think, the 4th time now.
Yeah. I really feel that this early Rega pick is a massive mistake and that there's something going on here. Either we really have Nunya in a spot where he doesn't feel confident enough in other supports outside of Malfurion and Rega, and he feels if Rega is by some miracle banned out, which I don't think would have even happened, that on the other supports he can't deliver as much. Rega has the one advantage that you have more control over the camps, at least on the map, so you can go for the Mercenaries. But even if you want to get Rega, the high priority that we see for him at this point is something that lets me question the pick, and where I feel there is... I personally don't think there's a world in which Diamondskin would have banned Rega.
Worst positioning, ban out Medivh from themselves, I guess. Diamondskin have been known to play, if I remember correctly. But another interesting fact here is, well, momentum seems to be something the chat believe in. 70% of them, or 71% believe the worst position can continue this spree, but with this draft, I'm starting to become a little less sure.
Yeah, we have Medivh played once by Diamondskin, and that was a victory for them, so I'm not really a hero.
So they can do it, that's all we need to know.
So Diablo banned out. I feel Diamondskin at this point is really looking at worst positioning and saying, we feel that they are a bit limited on certain hero pools, or that they have certain priority heroes where they can have a big impact. And once we're taking those away from them, the next set of heroes that the front line or the support is taking is struggling a lot more. That is not performed on the same level. So I think that's what Diamondskin is currently doing here. And of course, when you have already Blaze and then you have the Diablo in, that's just something where they are saying that front line is way too tanky and we won't be able to break through that.
So we're probably going to see ETC, maybe Muradin or something like that. On this map, Stitches even can become a possibility for worse positioning. And, well, Malfurion is pretty squishy, so I wouldn't hate it. But Stitches is very rare these days in all regions, whereas ETC is just more stable. And Nubarak is someone I did not mention, though.
All right, aggressive play.
Yeah.
But that makes me want Stukov even more.
Yeah, Stukov with an Nubarak would have been really, really nice. Dropping it underneath a Cocoon right before it pulls is the easiest combo to land in the world.
And you make it difficult for anybody to jump on Stukov because you want to be the team that moves in, that initiates fights, and then usually you drive the fight away from your support that sits safely in the back line with a lurking arm, with the extended range, and is able to just provide the added bonus in the team fight. Diamondskin, so for them, first of all, we have our top laner already confirmed with Sonya. Now the question is what's going to be run as the main tank here. They could go into a play around Muradin here for sure. Yeah. They themselves banned Diablo. Diamondskin has 10 games played with Muradin in HGC Europe. They won 3 of them. But they have, like, additional stun would definitely be great for them, but what's going to be the choice?
So ETC, Muradin could be good, but ETC could suffer a little bit in terms of the tankiness department. It's going to be that Muradin, and they bring out the Jaina. I look at this Diamondskin draft, and I'm like, this is just worst positioning's open division draft. It looks very solid for them, but worst positioning, they're bringing out the Greymane. Lots of burst damage with Greymane and Genji together here versus a couple squishy heroes. Hanzo, Malfurion, Jaina before the late levels.
Yeah, Jaina is interesting and screams burst like a pickup combo. Same that we have with Greymane. Again, I would love to see a Stukov over Rega in this particular lineup, because if you already play around Greymane and around Nubarak, I think you can be really successful with aggressive moves on heroes with it. Doesn't mean that Rega can't work out, it's just the early priority that seems to be very off. Diamondskin has a solid draft themselves though. Good solo, like good stacking of CCs as well, and if they start to burn targets down with the Jaina burst damage, then they are in a spot where they can just roll these fights.
Yeah, worst positioning needs to gain momentum, not just in this series, but in this game. If they can choose their engagements, they have a pretty decent chance of killing people. If not, if they play reactively, which we've complained about from them before, I think they're probably going to lose this game and lose their chance.
Yeah, for now it comes down to coordination as well. Diamondskin has struggled a bit on Infernal Shrines, but this is another map where, historically at least, in HGC Europe, they haven't looked too great. It's a better map for West positioning, one of the reasons why they picked it in the first place. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, because the pressure is definitely still on Worst positioning, with them being just one loss away from dropping out of the Crucible.
So we are heading into game number 5, and on the left it is Diamondskin with Jaina played by Nanda, Sonya played by Darkmock, Muradin played by Robodoba, Hanzo played by Roskmeg, and Malfurion played by Wolfjo.
Worst positioning to the right side of the map, with the dancers here already on Rega, Nunya playing him once again, Dreamy on Genji this time, Zico on Blaze playing the offlaner, Earth on a Nubarak, and Sonic the Beast for the second time in the series on Greymane.
This Greymane is scary. It's one of his good old Hero League grinds. It's one of the heroes we saw him perform very well on at the Western Clash when he did show up there. But he's up against one of his other favorites here, the Jaina. How well can Nanda bring this into bear?
Yeah, and of course, with the setups that we have, I, again, am very happy that Garrosh was addressed during the draft.
Yeah.
Already a trap set up for the rotation, and Roskmeg is starting to move down, but Dreamy moved to the middle a bit too early. There comes the stun attempt, not hitting home. Earth a little bit too soon, moving out, and now he's in trouble himself.
He's eaten all this damage here. He goes down, missing both of his stuns. And the great move by Diamondskin, first blood, second blood, certainly will be acquired here as well as Dreamy goes down.
And that is a great double kill for Diamondskin to start the game off with. Now, very unfortunate for Anubarak, missing the original stun against Hanzo, way too short on the burrow charge. And then, of course, having no escape tool available anymore, and the rotation of Diamondskin was way too quick. Everybody rotating back down. You have the slows through Jaina, so a lot of CC here. The slows, the stuns, everything just coming through. And in the end, it's 2 kills against worse positioning as the game starts.
Both teams going for Mercenaries, but with those kills super early by Diamondskin. This is bad news for worse positioning, but they are double camping. This is actually a really good idea, trying to get themselves back in the game with some lane pressure that way.
And don't we all hate campers?
Wrong game, friend. Wrong game. As we see Dreamy putting some pressure on Darkmok, the camp almost leashing, but they are able to pick that up pretty easily.
Wrong game, or is it? Half a level lead.
We saw how well camping worked for Anubarak at the start of this game.
Yeah, exactly. Half a level lead here for Diamondskin already, thanks to the early experience advantage that they got. Darkmok has to... I mean, Darkmok is up against 2, so whereas he's going to lose a lot on that lane, there is still pressure that now Diamondskin can put onto the bot lane, and that's where they have an advantage, where if they at any point take the bell tower itself, they can establish that dreaded bot lane dominance, where you all of a sudden have access to both mercenary camps. But here's an engage again, and this time it's on Nande, and this one is successful. Good job here.
The quick blow up, and that is one of the advantages of a Rhaegar. The fact that in terms of supports, he probably has the best burst follow up with that feral lunge. So seeing him blow up the Jaina there, very nice. Worst positioning on the board in terms of kills, pretty even in terms of XP.
Yeah, welcome to the game plan. Quick rotations, engage into them already. Another attempt by Anubarak. Roskmek. Oh, barely jumping out there. That was a close call here.
The Impale a little bit too early before he was even in range of it.
Heavy commitment by worse positioning, though. They really rotate with 3-4 heroes on these lanes trying to get these kills. So they need to be...
getting them.
I mean, yeah, they got one against Jaina. They haven't really committed too much yet. They didn't give up anything on the other lanes, but now they're losing out on experience in the mid lane since Jaina pushed it out. And Sonya is just absolutely willing to stall the top left a little bit. So big fight down here at the bot lane, but experience lead now in the hands of Diamondskin because of that mid lane push that we saw from Jaina herself.
Blaze goes back up to soak the top lane, and you actually saw their worst positioning. They're great positioning on this bottom altar, but decided not to cap it, even while Earth was being a distraction. Fights being prioritized over objectives here by worst positioning.
Yeah, Wolfjo is channeling that through, so Diamondskin is in control of the map for now, but again, this is a map where you are aware that in the later stages, if you scale well, you can usually go and just recuperate pretty quickly. So Diamondskin will hit the level 7 here, but the same is true for worst positioning, as we see Zikur dominating the top lane here. Had a lot of assistance in the early game and is really starting to pay off for them. And we actually see in this case also Sonic the Beast going for the Wizened Duelist. Now, talent got chained, of course, in the past, but still heavily leaning towards damage here. Yeah,
the damage output it can give is absolutely insane if you can play it well, without the original risk that the old one used to have, where nowadays you only use half of the bonus as opposed to all of it.
Yeah, at this point we also have again Poison Spear taken by Darkmok as a level 7 talent. Still questioning a bit the choice on Infernal Shrines, if that might have been a misclick. We've seen that in the past, where occasionally it happens. It's not often, or if it was just really an adjustment on his part. Good lockdown attempt against Anubarak here, and Sonya is actually starting to catch him, but Earth still able to move out, eat some extra damage. And that was a heads-up play here by Diamondskin, trying to secure the kill against Anubarak. Didn't quite work out, but it was a really good attempt.
Redemption fully stacked. The Incinerator Gauntlets here for Blaze. Starts the camp, but I think he fixed Sonya as closer than she actually was. He could have actually maybe killed off one of the camp minions there, but instead backs up and is going to rotate down for his team. The Burrow Charge doesn't land, the Impale does. Robodoba is targeted, but the Blizzard kills off Anubarak.
Really well done by Muradin here. Seeing Anubarak coming, dodging the stun, and that saved him in the end. So great play by Robodoba. It would have been a 1-for-1 trade one way or another with everything that's especially Jaina provided in that case. But now Diamondskin trading very nicely here, grabbing the early level 9 for themselves. But now we have altars, of course, spawning again. And already the position taken by Diamondskin. Zoning out Dreamy.
Blaze not feeling confident of his team's ability to try and contest this objective, so instead he goes for a mercenary camp, giving his team a little bit of counter pressure elsewhere on the map.
I mean, you have to appreciate the pressure that worst positioning is under now. 3 kills against them, they secured only 1, and they know that if they lose this game, it's over. The dream of securing a spot in HGC is gone. And they are willing to give altars up, give objectives up, just saying, okay guys, play patient. We have to not throw this. Just take fights where we have a good shot at winning, but don't suicide now and stagger deaths, because that would be the end of it.
Robodoba baited away by Dreamy, which has given a noob chance to move in onto Darkbok here, but Earth getting turned on. The rotation from Diamond Skin just too good. Blaze with the double stun, giving Earth some time. He's just trying to live long enough for his burrow charge to come back up. They actually killed Nanda. Sneaky Dreamy coming in. Does he have burrow charge? Yes, he does. Subterranean shield gets him out. That was bait after bait from both teams.
That was an interesting one. Diamond Skin losing Jaina, as they were more or less sure that they would be able to at least take down a Nubarak, but Earth bought enough time for Genji to deliver the damage, take Jaina down, and then he himself had his cooldown ready again and could move out. So that backfired for Diamond Skin. Now they are in a situation where they still share even experience with their opponent. Both teams on level 10 abilities. Tranquility chosen again. We have the Ring of Frost.
More burst.
Yes, a lot more burst. And yeah, it was a close one so far.
I'm liking it. That Ring of Frost follow-up on the Dragon Arrow. It's basically the only combo they have, but it could be really good. But worse positioning. They are beginning to try and put some pressure onto where the camp is being taken. They're a bit late, so they're just going to have to move up to the top lane and maybe contest the opponent's objective.
You can tell, though, that in a lot of these cases, Anubarak's aggression is backfiring against him. It worked out at the top, but that should have been a kill against the Bug. So Earth is in that spot where if he misses his engage, then there's a good chance that the damage turns against him very, very quickly here. And that has been the case now several times. So in the bigger team fights around altars later on, he has to be careful that there's always someone to back him up. Either Rhaegar with the Ancestral if needed, or Blaze with the bunker.
Zapper, one of them makes it onto the bell tower as the front wall is taken down. The bunker has yet to be used because there's been so few fights. Dragon Arrow, Hanzo expecting that fight to be a little bit more, well, fighty as opposed to a small exchange of auto attacks.
That was a quick throw out here. He should have it back for the altar fight itself, so it's not too bad. Like, sometimes there are definitely scenarios where around an objective you can throw out a heroic ability because you are aware that you will have it back for the altar fight itself, even if it comes in slightly late. So it's just an opportunity where you say, okay, if that works out, it's great for us and we just enhance our lead. But if it backfires, the downside isn't too bad.
Darmok this time finally able to take control of the top Mercenary camp, which has been consistently in favor of worse positioning this game, but was able to grab it for himself for once. Now, Nudia juking away from Robodoba there. A noob goes deep for Wolf Joe. Realizes it's a mistake, but in the meantime, this is all a distraction while Dreamy puts huge damage onto Nanda. Ancestral saves Earth as once again he took a huge amount of damage from that engage.
Yeah, Sonya, by the way, is barding Blaze at the top lane now that we have the Wrath of the Berserker in play. And also, Cocoon was used here too. Blaze had a really tough time as we were watching the fight at the bot lane, surviving through all of this. And now Diamond Skin have the early level 13. It's not a massive advantage, but it's a pretty big power spike. First of all, you have the level 13 Malfurion and Ice Block. That's already huge. And you also, stun coming out with the arrow, you also have the healing static for Murden. That's a big plus for Robodoba at that font.
Blaze is on the way down. He arrives. Ziku looking to move in, but wow, that kill on Genji. That should not have happened. Here comes the movement by Robodoba looking for Sonic. Ziku getting zoned away by Dartmok, who also rotates out. Good spear, interrupts the thrusters. Bunker has to be used, but Ziku will drop here.
Yeah, Ziku goes down, and maybe even more, as now all of a sudden Earth engaged again, and that puts him into a really awkward spot. He has no escape, goes down, and it's a triple kill. That is not only going to cost them the altar, it's going to cost them the bell tower.
Yeah, and we saw the attempt on the counter kill to try and make it at least a 2-for-1 by Earth, only stunning Malfurion, but none of the damage dealers were close for the follow-up damage.
They should have cut their losses there. Earth moving in just guaranteed another death on their side, and now they lost the bell tower. That means that we have additional shots fired through the altar, and bot lane control has been established, which is even worse, of course.
Mercenary is going to be moving in, which means bot lane has to be consistently defended. On the bright side, Sonic the Beast was able to soak a lot of XP up in the top lane on that Grey main. He's trying to keep his team in. It's a good reaction, so considering how bad that was.
When you started that sentence, I was like, wait a second, there's a bright side here? So,
on the bright side, they're reacting well to an absolute disaster.
I mean, that bot lane really hurt. That's really making it very difficult now. 19 points on the core for worst positioning and 32 for Diamond Skin. The level lead, of course, doesn't make things any better, and the bottom lane control that has been established from Diamond Skin is now putting them in the spot where they have easy access to the Mercenary camps, where they can really pressure. And this is gonna be a dirty setup. Worst positioning, they need to somehow find a kill here and gain momentum back, and it's gonna be incredibly difficult. If Dreamy can get a kill maybe on Jaina, then they might be able to make something work, but it's not gonna be easy by any means.
Camp slowly being whittled down by Sonic the Beast. Top lane is pushed up at least a little bit, but not too bad. Turrets in the bell tower will take care of that, but another Mercenary camp being done by Dartmock.
Yeah, top lane is also getting pushed in, and that's where Blaze is rotating to grab the experience, so he's getting at least that. But Diamond Skin is so close to 16 now that they have even more dominance on the map, and they're using it now to push the bot lane back, open up a potential move through, and we have a triple altar phase starting. This is a nightmare.
Yeah, that's super bad news. When you have your bottom bell tower down, it's a triple altar phase. That is potential 15 shots. That's near lethal. As we will see this Mercenary camp cleared up, so they won't take the shots from that.
Even if it's only 2.
Whoa, okay.
Here comes the engage, but they don't have 16. Here comes the Ring of Frost, and they go for Nubarak. The Ancestral comes out, and we have seen the Cocoon already being played here. But they have pushed back, and Dreamy barely survives on Genji.
The Dragon Blade did nothing. They got nothing out of that. Zico, on the other hand, does sneak that. So it's not going to be a full 15 shots. He gets 3 for his team here. He's going to try and move across the map and stop Dartmock, but it's going to be nowhere near in time.
It's 10. It's 10 shots fired here.
9 health
against
left.
3. Yeah, that puts them down to 9 health against 29. Level 16 talents. Dartmock with an early tap as he's trying to defend up here at the top. Bottom lane is still being pushed out by Hanzo, defending the bell tower, and the rest of the team is starting to take the safe path up to the top with the exception of Roba, who's jumping in aggressively. Here comes Dreamy. They want to go for the kill. They want to go for Roba Doba. Avatar is being used. Dartmock spin to a win on his Sonya. They're trying to slam Rhaegar into the ground. The arrow once again hitting nothing here as we see Hanzo and Jaina rotating to the top.
Jaina, though, being zoned out by Dreamy. That's pretty good. The shield, the light, the Earth shield on Earth there, keeping him alive as they pull back. But Robodoma is piling on the pressure. The Cocoon will probably save Earth's life here. Healing from Rhaegar. Is it enough? One burrow charge. The shield gets it.
The shield barely comes through. Another Panic Cocoon had to be used to cover the retreat. But that's, of course, a lot of cooldowns burned by worst positioning as Rostmek is still delivering on the camps at the bot lane. Boss is another huge concern now for worst positioning. They still don't have level 16 talents, and they're desperately trying to see if they can maybe start reclaiming the bottom bell tower. 16 finally in their hands, still a level behind Diamond Skin. Rough match for them. 6 kills against 2 in favor of the blue team.
Rough is the word. They're finally going to try and just burst down their bottom bell towers. Dreamy is distracting Robodoma. Robodoma in position looking for Earth. Burrow charge is used, but bell tower survives for Diamond Skin.
Double altar, activating in 15, and that could be game. If both of them are lost, this is over. There's also now another Mercenary camp moving through the bot lane, so if shots reach the core, that would put worst positioning in such an awful spot here, no matter what happens around the altars. Zico with a positioning attempt, he should have been envisioned there, and yeah, he was. Immediately sniffed out.
Spear lands. Zico takes a lot of damage. Gets healed up at least a little bit by his own dump, by his own oil. Muradin trying to channel sneakily, but Dreamy is harassing him here. It's 5v3, so this will not be lethal no matter what, unless it's the double capture.
It's so much free damage on Zico already. That's not how you want to start the fight. Here comes the stun against Nunya. A Tranquility being used as the Dragon Blade comes through. They go for Wolfjaw, but the Ice Fog is there. Cocoon in the backline. Here comes the bunker, and Malfurion finally falls.
Sonic the Beast with a perfect go for the throat. The bunker also blocks a big chunk of the Ring of Frost. Dreamy is low, but he gets away. Nunia is out of target. We see Sonic going down to Nanda. Nunia also drops. Dreamy is so low. If he can find Nanda, he'll get the kill, but he can't get to him as a Nubarak goes down.
And Nubarak is dead, and now Genji might be in trouble. Nanda with a great kill against Greyman, allowing all of this to happen. Once again, they're moving in, but the double channel is already underway as we have Nanda moving down to the bot lane with his Jaina up here to the top. Roba is already on it, but they recapture.
That's it.
No, it's not. No, 6 points. You're right. 2 camps went through. They recapture the bottom bell tower, but it doesn't matter. This is game.
That is it. Diamond Skin dominate the fight, and they take the series in a 4-1 and defend their position in HGC Europe. Well played by them.
I really thought for a second that they have another lifeline as the bottom bell tower was just claimed before the channel happened, but the earlier camp went through and delivered the 3 shots. They were down to 6 points at the time, so the 2 altars make up for 8, and that's game. And Diamond Skin, 4-1, looking very strong here.
Yeah.
Making a couple of mistakes on Infernal Shrines, which cost them 1 map, but a very solid showing by them. And worst positioning today, just not really coming together as a team.
Yeah, they weren't able to bring it at the level of HGC EU Pro Division, whereas Diamond Skin, they're proving the potential resurgence could be back. This is their second Crucible they've won now. They are, as we said before, the gatekeepers at this point.
They definitely are. And, I mean, they play great today, too.
Yeah, they had really good.
For a long time, it was really Roba-Doba on Garrosh that had a huge, well, provided a huge problem. Then they started to pick it away. That really helped to an extent, but they needed quicker kills. It was really the engagements that we saw through Anubarak where they couldn't confirm a kill quickly enough. And once that Anubarak moves in with this, especially in the early game when you have Blaze at the top lane, the only sustain that you have outside of Anubarak's shield is Rhaegar trying to help you out. Once that we have the 5 versus 5, you have a bunker available too, but that was definitely an awkward spot every time that Earth especially missed the stun, that they just found him in a spot where he was the target and oftentimes got blown up.
All right, well, let's have a bit of a chat with the winner of that series. It's Nanda coming in here. Dude, once again, congratulations for your second Crucible victory and holding on to your spot. How do you feel?
Hey man, it's definitely a very big relief for us to come ahead of this. We have went through a lot of ups and downs this season, probably a bit more downs, and it feels very good. It feels very good, and I'm very relieved to come out ahead again.
Okay, I'm going to start off with the most obvious question. What is the logic behind the Infernal Shrines pick in that series?
Infernal Shrines pick? Well, we knew that they're going to try to go for Medivh Diablo again, and we felt like we're going to be fine against it with what we had. And I think we didn't push our first Punisher enough. And it turned out we didn't play around it well enough after that, so yeah, we kind of lost to ourselves in that game, I guess. Not to take anything away from them. I think that's kind of what happened there.
All right, Kaudo?
Well, first of all, congratulations. You guys looked great today. For me, I personally just want to know, did you expect it? This was pretty smooth sailing for you guys. You dominated with a 4-1, and you can definitely make arguments that if Infernal Shrines goes a little bit different, you can win that one too. Maybe a different map choice would have given you an advantage. Did you expect this to be so easy or so dominant by you?
Well, we expected to be the favorites, I think, just because of our practice that we've had so far. We're most of us experienced players, right? And so, yeah, we did expect to be favored, maybe not winning 4-0 like it could have been. It went to be a 4-1. But yeah, we definitely thought that we were favored, but we respected them like any opponent that we would play, like any HGC match that we would play. And yeah, it seemed like they were not on the same level in their coordination and so on as you would have to be in the HGC. So
yeah, we saw that especially around their combos that they tried to execute, let's say Battlefield of Eternity with the Leyline Diablo setup that they had, but it never really worked out for them. Do you feel that for Open Division teams coming to the Crucible, it's a significantly disadvantage that they are not used to an HG setup, that there's more pressure on them? Or do you think that that's usually something that is where you fight teams on equal terms?
There is definitely a lot of, I think there's, well, I can say from my perspective, right, there's also pressure on our side of the HGC being the defending team, but it's for sure, I imagine, very difficult coming from the open side because you don't have the kind of stability to do this for a living, to practice every single day, and we get to practice against the best teams in Europe, right? So naturally, we're gonna have an edge being the defending team. So yeah, it must be a lot of pressure coming in from the open side, and I'm assuming a lot of them will have a job that they do at the same time and try to prepare for Crucible, basically, yeah, as a side job, right? So yeah, it must be a lot of pressure to make it count if you maybe give up on some things related to your job, so on.
All right, thank you very much. And again, great play today. You guys looked strong, and I hope that translates then also into the next phase of HGC 2018.
Yeah, and that's what the last question I had to ask. Well, second to last question, sorry. But now that you have re-qualified for HGC Europe, what is the next goal for Diamond Skin?
Well, our next goal, not to be in the Crucible for the third time in a row. I think that's a pretty good one to start out with. Well, as you know, we took we were a bit adventurous with this season. We bring in a new player from another region. We picked Rob up before we even had practiced with him because he was still in Australia. We brought in a player that had not really been playing competitive before in Roskmag, and we knew that we're gonna need a lot of time to like gel together and to really contest the top spots. So yeah, I think it was our goal all along to just take it as a improving time and see how far we can go in the long run, right?
All right. And
so yeah, I guess our goal is like not get crucibled again, and maybe we can go to a LAN sometime. Would be nice.
All right, wish you luck in that goal. And the final question, of course, is do you have any shout-outs? Huge congratulations to you guys.
Well, thank you very much to the both of you. Awesome to see you casting together again as well. And shout-outs, well, I want to shout out to my team, of course, first of all, because it is very hard, like being in the bottom of the standings for this time and then like keeping up the motivation to really push through this. And I think like everyone showed that they really have great potential. So I'm really happy for my teammates like pushing themselves as they did. And of course, shout out like to everyone that was cheering for us. And especially I want to shout out to my friends that I actually moved in together with last year for cheering for us like almost every weekend, even though they have no clue about this game. And I can hear them like cheering from the living room when I'm in between the games, like going to grab some water and stuff. I can like hear them chanting and shit. So yeah, big thanks to them.
All right, thank you very much, Nanda. Get some practice in, get ready for the next phase of HGC Europe, because that is the end of the Europe